So I mentioned. So I mentioned in the last video that I had to stop working on the carb pan because of this guy right here. Well, not totally because of that guy, but because of what's going in its place. So I should probably take a moment to talk about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. The carburetor that's on this car is from Pro Systems. It's a really awesome carburetor. They did an amazing job building it, and when it runs right, it runs great. The problem is, I'm not a carburetor guy. There are folks out there that will tell you all day long that they can tune these things and make them work better than anything else, and I have no reason not to believe people when they say that, but I'm not that guy. Personally, I feel a little bit more comfortable behind a keyboard when it comes to tuning things, and I really like having the backup of EFI to make sure that I'm not screwing anything up. When we ran this car in Dixie, on day one, we had major fueling problems.
Cars.com. Fuel stage 6 improves by 2.1 seconds now with the 48.563.
The float on the carburetor got stuck and we were dumping fuel down the motor. I stupidly didn't realize at the time, and we ran it all day like that. We got it fixed that night with the help of a bunch of great competitors, but the next day it was still running rich. It had already fouled the plugs and our day was kind of shot. When I got it back to the garage and we did an oil change, the oil reeked of gasoline, and I just started to think about things. I really could have screwed up this motor because I didn't know what I was doing. So I decided to make the move to EFI, really as a safety margin. In the past few years, EFI systems have gotten cheaper and they've gotten smarter. Most of the units on the market can self-tune and correct for any kind of mistakes like what we had in Dixie, and they're still completely tunable via laptop if I take this to a dyno. So really the intent here is to simplify our lives and make it one less thing we have to worry about when we're out on the track. So I should definitely mention that this video is in no way sponsored by Holley. I would have loved to have been sponsored by them because it wouldn't have cost me as much money, but I'm not quite at that level yet. There are a bunch of different EFI systems out on the market, so why did I go with the Holley? Really, they're all kind of similar as far as being able to install them and what they require and what they come with. But really, I'm replacing a Holley style carburetor and a Holley fuel system. Made sense to go with something Holley. Also, the software seems to be pretty universally understood. I'm not saying it's the best out there, I don't know. But it looks like most tuners out there, when they're tuning these systems, are using these Holley computers. So it kind of just made sense to go that route. Specifically, I went with the Sniper Stealth Master Kit, which includes a bunch of fuel stuff. Some of it I'll be using, some I won't be, but it's also the one that looks just like a carburetor. Functionally, it works the same as a regular Sniper. I just thought it looked a little better. All right, so I'm gonna try to do some of this one-handed so we can see what we've got. It's the box that arrived. Take a look at this guy. Fuel system kit. All right, so we've got a bunch of stuff in here. We've got a bunch of vapor guard fittings, which I won't be using. I'll talk about that in a minute. Move some of those out of the way. Nothing against them, I'm just doing something different. We've got some fuel filters. Again, I won't be using, but I'll talk about that shortly. We have a fuel pressure regulator. I will definitely be using that. Some more fittings. More fittings. More fittings. Some clamps. We've got some fuel line. This is the fuel return tube that's supposed to go to the bottom of your tank. One of these. Should theoretically be a fuel pump. Yes, so we got a fuel pump. And another fuel filter. So that's it for that. Let's get to this guy. So in an attempt to be a little less annoying and use two hands, I switched over to the tripod. But here should be the really good stuff. Let's open this up. Look, set it down. So here's the brains of the operation. So this is the Holley Sniper Stealth unit. It is designed to look just like a carburetor and should go on right in place. Has all the same linkage. TPS is over there. Fuel lines come in here, and the computer is all contained inside. All the necessary wiring comes out of the back. And here is the rest of the wiring, and it's really, really simple. Stickers, gaskets. I don't actually know what this is. Fuel lines for the carb, fittings, O2 sensor, miscellaneous hardware, and then something I never thought I would see in this car, if I can get it open, an LCD screen for tuning this thing. So I should probably talk about why I bought the master kit when I'm not going to be using, probably, any of that stuff right there. And I'm only going to be using the regulator and the fuel pump that came with the kit. Well, a couple reasons. Number one, I wanted to make sure I had everything. If I have everything, then I know what pieces I need to make this whole system work, even if I'm not going to use this stuff. Really, the main reason driving all that is this hose. The kit comes with Earl's Vapor Guard hose. This stuff is really good. It uses very specific fittings, but I don't want to use it in this application. The fuel lines on this car run from the back to the front underneath the car. And because of things like pulling cones underneath or other pieces of debris, I really prefer to use a stainless braided line running all the way to the back. Also, I bought really nice Holley fuel filters, like that guy there. So I want to reuse those. Another reason is back here in the trunk. This fuel cell is actually already set up for a fuel return. So I can use that along with, let me see if I can get you to see it, along with some of the fuel system back here, and put together a really good system for this car. So for most people, the fuel system that comes in the master kit should be perfect. This is a race car, so of course it has to cost more. So the reason I had to stop halfway through in the last video wasn't because of the carburetor necessarily. It's because of what it's sitting on. This carb is sitting on a 1-inch spacer, and the reason is for that vacuum line and that vacuum fitting. That's for the PCV. When I ordered this carburetor, I ordered it without any vacuum fittings because I didn't think I needed any. Turns out I did, so I had to throw on at the last minute that spacer. Switching from the carburetor to the EFI system, I get a built-in vacuum fitting. I can eliminate that spacer and I can drop the carburetor down because it was almost touching the hood. So as much as I would like to install this entire EFI system right now and get it running, I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. I will go ahead and pull the carburetor, pull the spacer, and put the main unit on, but that's so I can get everything in place to finish up the carb isolation tray that I started in the last video. Thanks for checking this video out. We'll have more from me and other Team Zip Tie members up soon. Make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, and there's a bell thing. I don't really know what it does, but I think it does something. So go ahead and click that too. And we'll talk to you real soon. Thanks. Sure. Oh, what about it? I probably didn't need to talk during that. That's fine. Where's Otto?